everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Multidimensional Geek. My name's Dan. I've got my buddy Ricky here.
Hello.
And today is the big day. The final chapter in the Skywalker Saga has entered theaters. And before we go see it, we're going to finish our Skywalker Saga review with Episode 8, The Last Jedi.
Yeah, this one is chronicles the adventures of our group. Where we left off, Rey finally found Luke Skywalker on a remote island, and he threw away the lightsaber when she handed it to him.
Yeah, but before that, we got to see a battle over the planet where the Resistance base was, because this movie basically starts out right after the last one. And they've followed the Resistance back to their base, and everybody's kind of in the middle of evacuating.
Poe Dameron finds a way that they could hit a certain part of it, and they have 7 or 8 bombers come in.
Yeah, he kind of strategically distracts them for a minute at first, so that he can take out their main cannons to bring in some bombers.
Unfortunately, a lot of those bombers though didn't make it. And they took out all of them but one.
Well, the last bomber still ended up dying because she kind of was killed in the explosion that took out the Star Destroyer. So the Resistance managed to get away with a few small ships. That's when we find Rey on the planet, and Luke pretty much doesn't want to have anything to do with the lightsaber.
Well, he pretty much doesn't seem like he wants anything to do with her at all at first.
Right.
She basically tells him that we need your help. Kylo Ren's stronger than ever before, and with Snoke, they're going to take over each system. And he kind of just brushes her off at first.
Yeah, and then we flash back to the Resistance, and they fall out of light speed, and almost immediately the First Order has tracked them and followed them, which is unusual because usually you can't track through hyperspace.
But somehow they have the technology to do that, and our friend Princess Leia gets injured during that and goes into a coma.
And Admiral Akbar dies.
Yeah, Admiral Akbar dies, and a lot of the other Resistance leaders, which then the power went to Admiral Holdo.
Yeah, so Holdo takes over and just kind of decides to just keep the fleet just far enough out of reach of the First Order that they can stay alive, basically. And
while that's going on, we see our friend Finn. He's like, "There's no hope left. I'm getting out of here because the situation's looking bleak." And he runs into this new character called Rose. Her sister died. She was the one that died on the bombing, and she said that a bunch of people have been deserting all day. What are you doing?
Yeah, and she basically stuns him with a Star Wars version of a taser.
Yeah.
And prevents him from escaping. He wanted to escape because he's got a beacon for where Rey can find him when she comes back.
He didn't want her to come back and have it be all this, this whole war part.
Yeah.
He didn't want her to die or nothing.
We're going to go back to Rey for a minute, and she's convincing Luke to train her. She wants to learn the ways of the Force.
Now, at first he jokes about it, he makes it into this little joke, but then when she finally focuses and gets into it, he feels a lot of the dark side in her, because there's a part where she goes into this deep dark cave type thing, and Luke's like, "You didn't even resist it. You went straight for it." So he was a little nervous by that.
Yeah. But then they go back to the Resistance fleet, and Poe is trying to hatch a plan because Finn and Rose kind of figured out that if they can track them through hyperspace, they need to find a way to get aboard the ship, the First Order ship, and disable their hyperspace tracking. So they contact Maz Kanata. She kind of leads them in the direction of a code breaker that should help them be able to fix that, and they Rose and Finn end up going to the planet of
Canto Bight. They go to Canto Bight, which I call it a little like Las Vegas casino. And there's some interesting stuff there because there's a bunch of rich people that live there and stuff like that. And they say that's where all the bad people live. I kind of disagree with that, but whatever.
Yeah, they end up getting arrested and put in a cell for illegally parking the shuttle that they brought with them.
And they run into, well, at first they do find the code breaker, but they never got a chance to talk to him because they were arrested. And then they run into, I think his name was DJ.
Yeah.
They never said his name on the movie, but I think if you look at the credits, it's DJ, and he kind of...
He's like, I can do that. I can break the code. So they end up escaping the jail cell with his help and with BB-8's help.
Yeah, BB-8. We forgot he was with them, but he helped them escape.
And DJ kind of stole a spacecraft so that they could get out of there. But they start heading back towards the fleet, and we go back to
Rey. And
Rey.
After she did that whole spectacular thing, Luke was like, "Who the hell are you?" Like, and she says, "I'm with the Resistance," and he's like, "No, who really are you? Because I felt the Force with you, and it was super strong." And he decides as a trainer, so to speak.
Yeah, they kind of do a little bit of training here and there, a little montage.
But one thing that we actually haven't really pointed out yet is that as her powers are growing, Kylo Ren is kind of like mind melding with her.
Yeah,
and
they're
they start
able to communicate
yeah.
through the Force somehow. They're not even sure how it's happening.
And so she's basically calling him a murderer and a liar, and he's like, if you ask Luke really what happened when I was getting trained by him.
Yeah, Luke and Kylo both give different versions of what happened at the Jedi Academy and basically where he kind of turned.
Yeah, where Kylo Ren turned.
In the end, there's kind of a middle ground between both their stories that gets revealed. And basically, she and him have a fight, and she leaves.
Yeah, because when they're mind melding, Kylo Ren basically convinces her that it was Luke's fault the whole time. He was going to kill him. That's why Kylo went to the dark side. And so she basically got into an argument with Luke and took off.
Yeah. After she takes off, Luke kind of goes to destroy the temple on his own, and our good old friend Yoda shows up and destroys it for him with some Force lightning.
Yeah, but he said, Luke said, "Hey, it's time for all the Jedi to die." And Yoda basically says she already has what she needs, and that the biggest success is how to deal with your failures.
Then we head back to the Resistance fleet, and Holdo has a plan, which she hasn't revealed to Poe, and he's kind of pissed off about it, so he decides to mutiny.
Yeah, so him and about 4 or 5 other people, they kind of get the gist of the plan, because he notices that she's fueling up all these ships to leave. Yeah, to leave. And he kind of gets the gist of it. And when they're all starting to board these ships, he's like, in the name of the Resistance and all this stuff, they kind of hold them hostage and take over the ship.
Yeah, and basically his plan kind of fails because our good friend Leia wakes up
out of her coma and shoots him.
We kind of go back to Rey, and she's on the Falcon with Chewbacca. Chewbacca shoots her out in like an escape pod to go board one of the First Order ships.
Yeah, and she gets, as soon as she gets there, she gets handcuffed, and they go to meet, she goes to, Kylo Ren grabs her, and they go meet Snoke, thank you. And then he tries to basically seduce her and said it was me all along that was melding your two minds together.
Yep, and basically in the end there was a really great lightsaber fight, and Kylo kills Snoke.
Yeah.
And Rey knocks out Kylo because he was trying to persuade her to join him.
Yeah, and at first it looked like they were. Like when he killed Snoke, they actually worked together for a little bit and killed some of Snoke's cronies and stuff. But in the end, he tried to get. He basically wanted anything old to die. Snoke, the Sith, Skywalker, all of that. He wanted all of that gone and to work together.
While that was going on, Rose and the Codebreaker and Finn end up on the First Order ship as well, and they start to head towards turning off that hyperspace tracking.
And they get in there, but there's like an evil BB-8. If you notice, there's like an evil-looking BB-8, and he catches them, and the First Order ends up catching them when they got into the building they needed to get into.
Yeah, right when they get to the room they needed to disable the tracking, they got caught. While all that was going on the First Order ship, the evacuation from the mothership of the Resistance starts happening. They all start heading down to this nearby planet in the little shuttles. And Holdo stays behind to pilot the main ship.
Yeah, and at first, she just is there chilling because at first they don't know that that those ships are leaving because they're invisible or something, you know. And so the First Order has no idea all these ships are leaving to this remote planet where there's like an old rebel base.
Right. So eventually, though, the First Order does see them and starts firing on them. So
because that DJ guy sold them out, and he got he basically said something to the effect that like, yeah, maybe they're gonna blow you guys up today, but you'll blow them up tomorrow, and it's old business.
Yep. But anyway, so Holdo decides to turn around the mothership and performs what has become known as the Holdo maneuver, as she basically activates the light speed drives and shoots the ship through the other ship like a bullet.
Yeah, and splits it in half, so to speak.
So that pretty much caused enough distraction for all of our heroes to escape from that ship.
Yeah, and so they escape and they get to that planet and stuff like that, and eventually Rey gets on to the Millennium Falcon with Chewie, and they escape too.
So but really cool fight scene between some TIE fighters and the Millennium Falcon, where they actually fly through the core of the planet. Crate, by the way, the planet of Crate.
Yeah, and there's also before all this, there was a cool fight scene with Finn and Phasma.
Yeah, back when they were on the ship, Finn and Phasma had a little bit of a tiff.
Yeah, which Finn and Rose escaped. You know, they escaped and they met up with the crew on that planet.
Yeah, they met up at the old Rebel base. And of course, the First Order eventually does catch up with them there, where they've got this battering ram laser gun. Basically, miniaturized Death Star tech is what he says. And they use these old sand speeders that they found at the Rebel base to go and attack the big ass gun.
Yeah, and Finn almost gets there. Like at first, though, everyone starts getting picked off. Like the First Order ends up like killing pretty much most of them, and then Poe's like, okay, we gotta back out. Like we're losing too many people.
Yeah, so Poe's ordering Finn to back off, and Finn's like, no, I'm not going to. And at the very last second, before Poe's just about to hit that battering ram laser beam, Rose swings in and crashes
into Finn's ship.
Into Finn's ship just to save him.
Yeah, and after all that happens, then Leia and the Resistance were pretty much like, there's no hope left. The Flame's dead, everything's gone, and out of the shadows comes our friend Luke.
Yeah, Luke shows up and he tells Leia he came, you know, at the ending. He's here to face down Kylo Ren, and that was a pretty fun fight.
Yeah, it was a good fight. It was a fun little face-off. The fight, he bought them enough time to figure out how to escape.
Yeah, basically that's what he was there for. Shows up, distracts Kylo Ren for a little bit, and they are able to find a way through the caverns inside of the Rebel base to...
And Rey helps them too.
Yeah, Rey shows up and uses the Force to move a bunch of boulders out of the way so they can escape in the Falcon. And basically that's what's left of the Resistance at this point, is everybody left on the Falcon.
Yeah, which is like a handful of people. And unfortunately, our friend Luke may not be with us anymore. He
kind of faded away into the Force.
Yeah.
And then the movie ends basically with a few kids, those orphans, the orphan slaves on Canto Bight, telling this legend of Luke Skywalker and being ordered around. And you see one of them use the Force to pull a broom towards himself, which is really cool.
Yeah. And he has one of those.
Yeah, Rose gave him the Resistance ring
way
when
back
they were there.
Yeah.
And then it fades to black. So this has only been out for 2 years. Honestly, I don't think my feelings have changed much about it. I know there was a lot of controversy on the internet.
Yeah.
What do you think about it now compared to 2 years ago?
Well, I think it's okay. I think it's good. Like Dan said, it's only been 2 years, so my opinion of it hasn't changed much. I don't understand all the anger toward it. You know, I'm not saying it's perfect. It's not the best Star Wars movie. You know, like I said about Force Awakens, but like with that one too, I don't understand all the hate in it. I mean, the scene when, toward the end, when Rey and Chewbacca are on that, on the Millennium Falcon, was just exactly like the trench run in the fourth one. So even that alone should give people like the feel goods, but for some reason, I don't know if it's because Rey's a girl. I don't know if it's just because people are more mean nowadays. But for some reason, there was a lot of hate for it across the board.
Haters are gonna hate, but what do you think about it?
I gave it a 2.5 to 3. It's not perfect. I'm leaning more toward the 3.
Yeah, I'm 2.5 to 3, leaning towards 3 as well. I can't wait to go see the next one here in a little bit.
Yeah, it looks from the previews and everything that we've seen, it looks really good.
Yeah, I'm super excited to see the end of the saga, and of course, that video will be coming at you tomorrow.
And it will be spoiler episode. So
yes.
Don't watch it right away if you haven't seen the movie yet.
Yes, this is our pre-warning. We'll warn you again tomorrow, but tomorrow's episode will be filled with spoilers, at least as many as we can wrap our heads around, because we're probably going to have our minds blown.
Yeah, because the movie itself is like 2.5 hours, and with previews it's like 2 hours and 50 minutes, so it's going to be a pretty long movie.
Yep, I am super excited. I can't wait. So, until tomorrow, of course, thanks for watching. If you like the video, hit that like button. Consider subscribing if you're not. Leave a comment below. Share it with your friends. And you can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. And until tomorrow, make your life more fun by keeping it multidimensional. Catch you later.